Tamaran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatarashata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudeva ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatarashata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Vaman Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatarashata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatarashata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Keshav Gosvami Mahārāja ki jai. Sai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashvatarashata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Gosvami Prabhupada ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Mahabhagavat Śrīla Gaurkisharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Nugogariya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhattadash Raghunath Shar Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय. सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदत्त गिरिराज महाराज की जय. श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय. श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय. श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय. श्री भक्ति देवी की जय. श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय. श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय. श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. जय श्री गुरुदेव की जय. जय श्री वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय. Jai Shri Trikram Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Haribo. Okay, Raseshwari Mataji, no problem. And Rukmini Didi, Dandavat Pranams. Madhavi Didi, Dandavat Pranams. Oh, and I saw your question on the WhatsApp chat, Rukmini Didi, and no, I don't know where there's a transcript of that katha. But yeah, it is so beautiful. Maybe we can listen to that at the end of this program. I'll put it on, and everybody can hear a few minutes of my Gurudev speaking. So today I don't have any plan. I was about to do Srimad Bhagavatam, but then I thought it'd be nice to do a little bit more reading for my Gurudev since I didn't manage to do it last night. But but there's Rays of the Harmonist articles. There's so many beautiful things in there. And so I thought we can just pick and choose. Hari Bol Prajumna Prabhu and Mantaramurti Mataji. All right, so I'll share my screen. Hari Bol Indira Mataji. Yeah, so if anybody also has any suggestions, let me know. And I can read it. Oh, but for Jumna Prabhu, I want to read more things specific about Gurudev and Śrīla Vāman Goswami, not Rupa Parampara stuff. Okay, so let's see. This one, I thought we could start off. Let's open with preview. Yeah, I thought we could start off with reading this one on separation from my Gurudev. I don't even actually remember ever reading it before. But where is it? So I just saw the title and I said, okay. It says, The Importance of Separation for the Sādhaka. Probably have it, I don't really remember it. It's page 70. Page 70. Oh, oops. Okay. Yes. Excerpts from the Harikatha of Srimad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. The importance of separation for the Sādhaka. Separation is a lamppost. The meeting and separation of Sri Guru and Vaishnavas have the same meaning. The Virahatiti of Sri Guru Parma mercifully appears in this material world once a year, giving Guru Sevaks an opportunity to review their service and inspiration to proceed on the path of Shuddha Bhakti as preached and practiced by him. For us, who are in the midst of dense darkness due to the disappearance of Guru and the calamities that come upon on the path of sadhan, this Viraha Mahotsav is like a lamppost, guiding us on the proper path and not letting us deviate. That was from Sri Gaudiya Patrika, year 21, issue 10. Wow, beautiful. I wish I read that yesterday. The result of separation. The unique feature of this age of Kali is the extraordinary result of Sankirtan. One who performs Sankirtan, weeping in a mood of separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is, from Sri Krishna and the gopis, and yearning from the core of his heart for their darshan, will certainly receive their mercy. Krishna never fails to manifest himself to such a devotee. It's, from Gopi Geet commentary. These are all quotes from my Gurudev. Prem has the importance of separation for the sadhak. Prem has two aspects, meeting and separation. For us sadhak jivas, the mood of separation is more glorious than the mood of meeting. It is very favorable for us. From where does a mood of separation come? When one feels great attachment for a person, a feeling of separation for him may come. Without attachment, there is no feeling of separation. If you have great attachment for your Gurudev, a mood of separation from him may come. Your heart will continually melt, and tears will flow from your eyes. But those who have no attachment to Gurudev, having not served him, cannot feel separation from him. Love and affection for Krishna and Mahaprabhu and the moods of separation from them remain far away from such persons. Charity begins at home, and all advancement in bhakti begins from attachment to Guru and pure Vaishnavas. You should therefore try to become attached to your bona fide pure Guru. That was in America, it's USA 2002, 4 June 2002. Separation, an aspect of prem. We have heard from us about the principle of separation, viraha tattva. Feelings of separation are very important in the bhajan of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. When first entering the realm of bhajan, one feels separation. In the middle stage, there are such feelings, and finally, even when one attains Shri Radha Krishna's direct service, there are such feelings. Separation is one of the aspects of prem. Where there is separation, there must also be subsequent meeting, and that is why Vaishnava literature gives separation great importance. During the time of separation, we can all remember the qualities of our object of love and worship, whereas it is not possible at the time of meeting. In Viraha, there is meeting internally. You can meet directly there. You can meet directly then. Vaishnavas never die. Rather, they enter into the transcendental world and disappear from here. They are just like Krishna. His pastimes appear and then disappear. Similarly, Vaishnavas also appear and disappear. That was 18 November 2004, Govardhan, India. Internal happiness. In prem, there is meeting and separation. In meeting, there is external meeting only, and in that happiness, the devotee forgets everything internal. But internally, during viraha, separation, the devotee recalls the pastimes of meeting. Meeting is certainly one type of happiness, but separation is another. Therefore, sadhaks in this world perform bhajan in the mood of separation by remembering the pastimes of Shishi, Guru, Gauranga. Separation enhances meeting. After this, Vyasadeva saw Krishna leave Mathura and go to Dwarka. He saw the separation mood of Krishna and the Vrajavasis. Without the mood of separation, you cannot realize or taste Milan or meeting. So separation is essential. According to the height of separation, to that extent, meeting will be interesting and tasteful. We are unable to describe this in such a way that you will understand, but when you realize it, you will understand. Words cannot speak about Milan because words have no mouth. They don't have any full capacity of expression. And the eye is unable to speak. It is such a thing. It's 5th April 2006 in Germany. The reality of our position. We have been forgetful of Krishna since the beginning of time. For this reason, a sadhak bhakta should always lament, weep, and feel separation in his bhajan. He should weep like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like Srila Narottam Das Thakur, and like Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur. Beginners must know that we have forgotten Krishna and we have been separated from him from time immemorial. And therefore, their bhajan should be full of feelings of separation. The mature devotees will also feel separation, but moreover, they will not want Srimati Radhika to feel separation from Krishna. 14 January 2003, Hilo, Hawaii. Praying to feel separation. Atyutkatena nitaram virahanalena dandahyamana hridaya kila kapidasi aswamini kshanama iha pranayena gardam sai akrandanena vidura vilapami padhyay. That's Vilap Kusmandali, verse 7. O Swamini, my mistress Radha, the heart of this maidservant constantly burns in a great fire of separation from you. Being thus afflicted and crying with great love, I lament in the following verses. In this verse, Raghunath Das Goswami says, Atyut katena nitaram virahanalena. My heart in the great fire of separation. He sincerely feels this sentiment. I have faith that by the grace of Raghunath Das Goswami, our Gurudev and the Guru Parampara, we will also realize some sprinkle of this sentiment one day. This is our real prayer. When we pray and sing this shloka, that should be our mood. Tava nama grahane bhavishyati. When, by chanting Harinam and remembering and listening, will I weep? Those who are very fortunate can repent, weep, and realize these things. That's 21 October 1992, Mathura. Separation, proportionate to true affection. According to how much affection you have for your Gurudev's lotus feet, that much separation you will feel from him. You must understand that the devotee who feels separation from his Guru is very elevated in bhakti, and he will soon attain the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha Krishna. Without Gurudev's mercy, this is not possible. It's 13 November 2007, Govardhan. How to attain mood of separation. When praying, chanting Harinam, or thinking about Harinam, we should feel some Vipralamba Bhav. If we have no mood of separation, we will have to gradually develop that mood through our execution of sadhana. By reading about these pastimes, something will enter our hearts, and someday we will fully experience all these things. And also, by remembering our Gurudev, we'll remember these things. We should always think of Gurudev and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. If we don't understand the mercy of Gurudev, then we cannot understand anything. If you're getting something new from me, then you can remember me also, and I will gain so much. Okay, 1 second. A necessary mood for the sadhak. For us, it cannot be said that visions or spurtis manifest. In an artificial way, we only imagine that this or that. In an artificial way, we only remember that this or that pastime is going on. Even if we are remembering these things, it is not a spurti. We cannot even imagine this elevated stage, although we may possess some eagerness to see Krishna. Only those who are incessantly serving Srimati Radhika can possibly have some idea of this stage. We have no Vishuddha Sattva Bhav or even Asakti, what to speak of Mahabhav. In order to taste separation as Srimati Radhika does in the elevated stage of Madan, one must possess some reflection of her Bhav. Only the Manjaris can realize something of such Vipralamba. Even Lalita and Vishaka do not experience separation to this degree. To what extent do we actually feel separation from Radha and Krishna, their associates Lalita and Vishaka, Rup Manjari, or from Vrindavan and Radha Kund? Do we even feel separation from our Gurudev? We are certainly not hankering. We are certainly not hankering such that we call out to him. Where is it? Oh, sorry. I don't actually understand this previous paragraph, but anyways, we'll come to that. So, do we even feel separation from our Gurudev? We're certainly not hankering such that we call out to him. Where are you, Gurudev? Where are you? This should exist in the sadhak. Then, by the grace of his Gurudev, he will remember these bhavs, and the pastimes will automatically appear in his heart in the same way that worldly thoughts come now. As long as worldly thoughts remain in our hearts, though, a continuous remembrance and spurtis will not manifest. The sadhak who has some taste in Harikatha and in chanting may, by the grace of Guru and Vaishnav, have a momentary darshan of Krishna, just as Narad had darshan of Nārāyaṇa. Then it can be said that such a sadhak has actually achieved something tangible. How can we achieve this level of remembrance? We should chant, read, and continuously endeavor to realize some of this separation mood in our hearts. To feel this separation is the goal of our lives. Nama Shreshtam Manumapi Sachiputramatra Sarupam Rupam Tasyagrajim Urupurim Maturim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Patita Kripaya Shri Guru Tang Natosmi. I bow down lotus feet of my spiritual master, by whose causeless mercy I have obtained the supreme holy name, the divine mantra, the service of the son of Shachimata, the association of Srila Sarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami, and his older brother Sanatan Goswami, the supreme abode of Mathura, the blissful abode of Vrindavan, the divine Radha Kund and Govardhan Hill, and the desire within my heart for the loving service of Sri Radhika and Sri Madhav in Vrindavan. If our Gurudev has given us any greed towards Nam, Mantra, the Vrajvasis, Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis, Sarup Damodar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhu Nityananda, Radha Krishna Yugal, Radha Kund, and Giri Govardhan, Then we will always remember him and feel indebted to him, and we will thus feel separation from him. Raghunath Das Goswami has received such greed from Sarup Damodar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis, and he has actual darshan of Vrindavan and the Nitya Parikars, Krishna's eternal associates. Therefore, his mood of separation is profound. Entering deeply into Vipralamba Bhav, he quickly moves from Bahyadasha, the state of external consciousness, to Ardha Bahyadasha, half external, half internal consciousness, and then to Antaradasha, internal consciousness, and the Aprakat Lila, the pastimes unmanifest to this worldly plane of Radha and Krishna. That's 26 March 1993, Mathura. Okay. The object of our separation. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami is praying in the 7th shloka. I am lying on the bank of your Radhakund, taking nothing to eat or drink, and always weeping and chanting, Radha, Radha. I think that some day or other you will have to give me your mercy. If you don't, then I have no need of Krishna's mercy, Radha Kund's mercy, or any other's mercy. Also, I will no longer want to live here. In this way, he is crying. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada has written that some Bhog and Viraha, Vipralamba, are standing side by side eternally, forever, for Akhanda Kal. Do you understand? Only a person who has some realization of Vipralamba can taste and enjoy Sambhog Lila for eternity, Akhanda Kal. One who has no taste of Vipralamba cannot enjoy Sambhog Lila. The main object and ultimate goal of our sadhan bhajan is to realize Vipralamba Bhav. If Vipralamba is achieved, we can realize everything else. Wow, that's a beautiful one. That was 21 October 1992, Mathura. This section is called Describing Transcendental Separation. What is the nature of the viraha, the separation moods of the gopis? Ordinary people may think it to be pain, but these ordinary people are seeing from the perspective of Padmavati, the mother of Kamsa. They entertain a completely wrong understanding of the nature of prem and the pastimes of Raj. That's 27 August 2003, Mathura. Okay. Disappearance Day Katha. On the disappearance day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. Today is the disappearance day of Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur. We observe the appearance and disappearance day of any devotee or guru, but we have not seen it written anywhere in Shastra that we should observe the day of Krishna or his manifestations, his avatars. Especially, we observe the disappearance day of any high-class devotee more than we do his appearance day. But for Krishna and his manifestations, we only observe their birthday. And for Vaishnavas or for Guru, we especially observe their disappearance day, because before their birth, we do not know anything about that Vaishnava or Guru. When he disappears, however, we can read about his entire life, or we can see and realize how he has developed so much and what he has and what sorry. We can realize how he developed so much and what he has done for the world. I didn't. Anyways, what good he has done for the world. Sorry. That's 14 December 2000. On the disappearance day of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Today is the first day of our Urja Vrat. The first day of our Urja Vrat, Niyam Seva, and Damodar Vrat. Today is also Sharadiya Purnima, the day leading to the full moon night, when Sri Krishna began his performance of the Ras dance. Today is also the disappearance day of my Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. On this day, he entered the eternal abode of Sri Krishna in the evening, just when the moon was rising. Where? At the Rasastali in Sri Navadip Dham. That place is none different from Govardhan. At that time, we were all present as our Gurudev chanted Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and entered into Nitya Lila. That's 2005, Vrindavan Dham. Oh, there's a really beautiful thing. I'd have to find it though. I think I could find it on. Yeah. Yeah, what is it? The pastime, isn't it like Haribol Sudevi Didi? The pastime of when yeah, what is it in Jagannath Leela? It's in the Rath Yatra book. Sorry. The devotees Pushpanjalis in the first two rays of the harmonious issues after his disappearance day. Yeah, Pran Kishore Prabhu's offering was my favorite one. Let me find that. Actually, first I'd like to read about this. The departure of Shripad Ananga Mohan Brahmachari. Wait. Oh. I just worked on this letter because Shivas translated it, but I didn't realize it was already translated. I'll have to let him know. Anyhow, okay. Actually, I'm not going to read that. No, I will read it. Sorry, I'm so indecisive. Okay. Shripad Ananga Mohan Brahmachari's departure to his abode. It is with a pained heart that we inform. This Gurudev wrote this in, what is it, 1940s? No, 1950, I think. 1951. Yeah, 1950. Okay. It is with a pained heart that we inform you that on Thursday, 2 March 1950, the Trayodashi Tithi of the month of Falgun at 2:30 p.m., Shripad Ananga Mohan Brahmachari departed to his own abode, leaving us all forever. He spent the last 6 months of his life in Tambaram, a health resort in a mountain town situated 10 miles south of Madras. The revered Shripad Trigunatit Brahmachari, best of the Bhaktas, and Sri Yuta Gaur Narayan Das Adhikari, Ananga Mohan Brahmachari's dedicated sevak, were extremely affectionate toward Ananga Mohan Brahmachari. Both of them risked their lives in accepting responsibility for his treatment and availed themselves of the opportunity to serve his every need during his last days. We are publishing here the letter they sent informing us about the grievous news of Shripad Ananga Mohan Brahmachari's entering upper. Upon the departure of Shripad Ananga Mohan Brahmachari, Gaur Narayan Das Adhikari, Shishimad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Goswami Maharaj, wrote the following letter to their Gurudev, Shishimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Shishi Guru Gorangao Jayata. That's Tambaram, 2 March 1950. Patit Pavan Srila Gurudev. It is with much distress and apprehension that I offer my Dandavat Pranam at your lotus feet, which grant fearlessness. O Prabhu, we have failed to protect that most precious treasure you entrusted to us today. And today it was lost. This morning, from 6 till 10 a.m., he was unconscious. But even in that condition, he uttered, Ha Krishna, Ha Gaurasundar, Krishna is calling me to Vrindavan. Where is Krishna? Is he in my heart? Where is Gurudev? Where is Baba, Father? Please disregard any of my offenses to you. Please bestow your mercy upon me. At 10 o'clock, he came to external consciousness, and from 1 p.m. onward, his pulse again started to drop. And again, he started calling out the same words as before. Then at 2:30 p.m., he departed for Goloka Vrindavan Dham. He did not experience any pain, his face did not distort in the slightest, and he did not experience any other severe symptoms. He was completely serene, self-composed when he departed. Others in the hospital noticed his chanting of Bhagavan's holy names, his peaceful state of mind, and his feelings for you, and all were wonderstruck. They counted themselves extremely fortunate to have had the darshan of such a personality. We too have become blessed as a result of receiving this rare service from you. In this world, we do not see that a person leaves his body in such a glorious way. To preserve our auspicious memory of him, we will at once depart for Siddhavadi village, his favorite health resort. There's a footnote here. What does it say? Meaning their collection of the ashes after his body was cremated. Okay. Okay. Kindly inform us when you will mercifully come to Siddhavadi. Our minds are now restless, and we anxiously await your arrival. All our unrest will immediately be dispelled upon receiving your darshan, and we will resume our one-pointed, dedicated service to you. We hope to quickly receive your merciful reply and your darshan. Thus, yours, Gaur Narayan. And then in the Gaudiya Patrika it continues. Shripad Ananga Mohan Brahmachari was an ideal Guru Sevak. He is an eternal companion of Shri Guru Pad Padma, and as his right arm, he continuously remains with him like a shadow, always engaged in his intimate service. His boundless tolerance for suffering set an ideal for all. Such an illuminating example of an ideal Guru Sevak is extremely rare. In separation from him, all in Sri Gaudiya Samiti, especially us, his insignificant godbrothers who are charmed by his qualities, are disheartened by his absence. Thinking about his untimely departure at age 21, all are bewildered. May his and then there's here this transcendental condition of mugdata, or being spellbound in emotion, is due to deep affection to the Vaishnavas. Okay. May his illuminating ideal of service to Sri Guru and the Vaishnavas guide us on the path of bhakti and always inspire us to serve. This is our sole prayer. Kripa kori Krishna more diyachila sangha swatantra Krishnera icha koila sangha bhanga. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila 1194. Mahaprabhu spoke. Shri Krishna mercifully bestowed upon me the association of Shri Haridas Thakur. Today, by the desire of Krishna, who is the all-independent Lord, that association has been taken away. Translated from Sri Gaudiya Patrika, Year 2, Issue 2. Wow, this looks really nice. My Gurudev's glorification of Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj. Should I read this or should I read Pram Kishore Prabhu's thing? Well, if you guys don't mind me going overtime, maybe I could read both. I'll read. I don't know which issue it's in though. Let me just find it. Let me think of a keyword from it. It's been a while since I've read it. I think he wrote, did he say Prem Yuga in it? Let me look. Prem Yuga. Yes, there it is. Okay. Yeah, this offering is so beautiful. Okay, I'm going to read this one. Right, let me just see if everybody's okay with that. Okay, nobody said anything, so I'll just read this. A humble Puspanjali at the lotus feet of my divine master. This is from Pran Kishore Prabhu, who is very dear disciple. I'm not, well, Shiksha disciple of my Gurudev. I offer my prostrated obeisances at the divine lotus Shiksha Guru, his divine grace, Shri Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada. I offer my full Dandavat pranams at the lotus feet of my Shiksha Guru, his divine grace, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Mahārāja. And finally, I offer my full prostrations at the divine lotus feet of my Shiksha Guru, his divine grace, Shri Srimad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, Srila Gurudev. Dearest and most beloved Srila Gurudev, the year was 1978, and I used to dress Shri Radha Temple. My godbrother would play a recording of a bhajan tape while we dressed and decorated Thakurji. The songs were captivating. Vivavari Shesha, Jay Anilo Premadhana, Emona Durmati, Hari Harai, etc. Every day I would dress Thakurji and listen to these sound vibrations, and something soon began to touch my heart. I inquired, who is the person singing these bhajans? And I was told that it was you, Srila Nārāyaṇa Mahārāja, the devotee who placed Srila Prabhupada in Samadhi. This is 1978. Your voice was the sweetest and most powerfully captivating sound vibration I had ever heard. I was told by someone that you were the most renowned kirtaniya in the whole Gaudiya Math. Days passed into weeks, and weeks passed into months. And as a ritual, we would play that same recording each morning. Something must have gradually entered my heart, because at some point I made a quiet declaration to myself. I must find him, and I must serve him. In the early 1980s, I was in Vrindavan and eagerly began to inquire from the local devotees about how I could locate you. Go to Keshavji Gaudiya Math in Mathura, the place where Srila Prabhupada was given sannyas, I was told. Full of eagerness and like a small child, I embarked for Mathura, unaware of the profound change that was about to take place in my life. When I reached the top of the stairs in the mat, I could see the temple room and the deity doors. I looked to my left, and I saw you sitting in a chair looking straight ahead, chanting on your mala. No one else was there, and no one was looking at me. I just stood there, staring at you, my heart beating faster and faster. I knew it was you, although I had never seen a photo. Something more than mystical was happening to me as I stood there for at least 2 or 3 minutes, just looking at you. A revelation came to my heart. You are again in the presence of Srila Prabhupada. I remembered some words from a tape of Pujapad Srila Sridhar Maharaj that was being circulated. Follow your heart. Follow your heart. The heart will never lie. I approached you and paid my pranams. You looked at me with your bright blue eyes and suddenly smiled broadly, as if you had been sitting in that chair waiting for me. That was all it took. My heart was captured, stolen, overwhelmed. I sat at your feet. It felt as if we had found. It felt as if we had found each other again. In December of 1984, I came to stay for some time in Mathura. During this stay, you so kindly fulfilled my desire for seva to you. It was out of your causeless love and mercy that you did so. A large plot of land had been donated to you near Sevakunj, and you brought me there to view it. We walked around the plot together, and you described to me in vivid detail what your plans were. You eventually pulled out a large paper with an intricate architectural drawing of the Mott plans in its entirety. Personally, to my own eyes, all I could presently see was an empty land with a small hut that had been dilapidated by what appeared to have been a fire. When I left Mathura that time, my life changed drastically. Let's close this WhatsApp. Let me just close this WhatsApp. Okay. When I left Mathura that time, my life changed drastically. For the next 6 years, I spent all of my time collecting to assist in the construction of Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math. I spoke of you to all my friends and godbrothers. Some became very eager to meet you. It was an amazing and exciting time. I felt such purpose to life. We were always exchanging letters, and sometimes you would say, "Please come soon, or we will feel some difficulty." I would come 2 or 3 times a year with my various collections. Some of my friends, although not having yet met you, would also help generously. I used to love placing large sacks of rupees all around your feet and body as you sat on your bed. At those times, Naveen Prabhu would always tightly lock the door. Once you said, I feel that I am just dreaming that you have just placed all these rupees on my bed. Will I wake up?" You are so kind and loving to me. It seems that you are always worried for me. I remember your embracing me and holding me tightly to your chest. I could feel your heart beating. One year when I was leaving, it was wintertime. You noticed that I was wearing a short-sleeved shirt and said that I was like a Vairagi and would be cold traveling through so many countries. To my shock, you removed your own saffron sweatshirt from your body and handed it to me, ordering me to put it on. A few brahmacharis were in the room, and they looked somewhat stunned. I refused to put the shirt on, and I said that instead I will place it on my altar and worship it. You strongly insisted, so I squeezed into it. The sleeves came only to my forearms, and the chest and shoulders were so tight. I never felt so warm in my whole life, so loved. You laughed and embraced me. I was at a loss for words. Years later in the 90s, when I was with you at Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math, you pointed to the pillars and various structures and said, "You have done this." I would strongly object and say, "No, you have done this." Arguing back and forth, I finally said that Krishna had done it for you. "Krishna can only do prerak," you replied, and then walked away laughing. Prerak was my previous name, which means one who has been sent. In the late 80s and early 90s, a small devoted group had taken shelter of your lotus feet. You began to elaborately speak upon topics related to our ultimate sadhya. You described Radha Dasyam in all of its splendor and glory. You gave us deep commentaries and sweet leelas from Rag Vartma Chandrika, Ujjvala Nilamani, and other Gosvāmī Granthas. You instructed us to perform bhajan with the single aim of an ekatik vraja bhav, an ekantic Vrajbhav mood directed towards Radha Dasyam in the line of Sri Rupa. You warned us not to cultivate any activities that would create Purusha Bhav. You thoroughly clarified the Manobhishta and speciality of Sriman Mahaprabhu and the deep meaning of Rupanuga. It was like a new awakening for us, the next phase of our spiritual life, a continuation of what Srila Prabhupada had brought us. You were slowly changing us. You once told Champakalata, and that's his wife, who used to come and stay in India for 4 to 6 months with our girls. I want to transform you so much that when Pran Kishore comes, he will no longer recognize you. Coming to the West, Prem Yuga, the second Hare Krishna explosion. None in your group of devotees ever conceived that you would leave India. When preparations were being made for your first Western tour, you called me to your room and told me that your Guru Maharaj had come to you and instructed you to go and preach in the West. You also told me that he had promised Srila Prabhupada that you would preach in the West and that you would surely fulfill that promise. I will never forget how shortly thereafter, we saw you disembarking out of the gate at LAX in 1996 for the first time. It was a completely surreal scene. A small group of devotees were nervously chanting, walking here and there, anxiously waiting to greet you. A kirtan slowly began as the people started coming through the gate. Finally, we saw you and Naveen Krishna Brahmachari from a distance. You were shining like the warm morning sun. You smiled widely when you saw all of us. The moment was perfectly captured by Gokul Chandra Prabhu as he snapped a photo of Charlotta trying to place a garland on you as she wept and laughed simultaneously, utterly stunned to see you on Western soil. You and Naveen Prabhu laughed to see this. It was back in 94 or 95 that Shripad Gaur Govinda Maharaj had told his disciples that a Prem Yuga would be coming and it would begin in 96. It was a prophecy that none of us understood at that time. It didn't take long after your arrival in 1996 to understand what Shripad Gaur Govinda Maharaj had seen in his transcendental vision. Soon after your arrival, a massive flood of bhakti would envelop the planet again. A second wave, a second explosion coming after the departure of our beloved Srila Prabhupada. I was fortunate that first year in that I was able to be your driver, and I drove you all over California. I was able to be with you here and there, and also throughout the Far East those first few years. I witnessed firsthand the transformations devotees would go through after hearing your Harikatha for only 2 or 3 days. I watched grown men and women, godbrothers and godsisters, stand before you, weep uncontrollably, and then fall at your feet. One devotee could only utter the words, thank you, weeping and weeping. You smiled lovingly, put your hand on his head, and said, I wanted this. Only a resident of Raj, a parivar of Sri Radha, and an intimate associate of Sri Rupa could perform such magic on the hearts of devotees everywhere. O Gurudev, dear friend, dear master, oh Gurudev, dear friend, dear master, you told me once that Srila Prabhupada was Satya Sankalpa. Whatever he said is bound to become truth. This was his nature and caliber. Gurudev, you are also Satya Sankalpa. One time in Mathura, you asked me if I were happy. I asked you why. You said that if I were not happy, that you would personally begin a court case against Krishna on the side of Srimati Radhika. You said that Krishna promised in the Bhagavad Gita that if his devotee serves him, then that devotee must become happy forever. So if I were not happy, then you would take Krishna to court for not telling the truth. Just after this, I became a little emotional, and you told I became a little emotional and told you that if I had to take birth again, I might be directed to another guru. I told you that I never wanted to be separated from you. You took my hands and promised me that you would find me. You said that we would always be together and that you would never let me go. You are Satya Sankalpa. Your words must become truth. They are all I have now to keep me alive. All other prospects are now bleak and meaningless. The only thing of value is to be with you eternally. Please find me, Gurudev. Please. Sorry. Please look for me, even if I stray to weakness. You are my only hope. Destitute and shattered, your Pranikishore Das. There's one beautiful thing. Let me just try to find it. One second. I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen for a minute. Where is? Okay. I think it's on. I think I shared it on Facebook once. Let me see. Post. Okay, I found it. Let me just put it on a Word doc, and then I'll open it. One second, guys. Okay, there, got it. Okay, I'll share my screen again. Where's... Okay, and then after this, I'll stop. I didn't read anything about Śrīla Gurudeva Goswāmī. I said about Śrīla Vāman Goswāmī Maharaj. Okay. Oh Gurudev, this is from Gaudiya Patrika, Year 4, Issue 11. Oh Gurudev, we do not qualify to touch even one drop of the ocean of your glories. Still, only by kirtan, by proclaiming your glories, will remembrance of you remain awake within us. At the same time, ekaki amar nahi pai bal hari nama sankirtane. Alone, I have no strength to perform Hari Nam Sankirtan. If those of us who have taken shelter of your lotus feet do not remain united, we will not have the strength to engage in Krishna Kirtan and Krishna Seva, and consequently, we will become lost. If by accepting the consideration, Guru Sevak Hoy Manya Apnar, the servant of Shri Guru is to be revered by me, we mutually respect and honor each other without duplicity. Only then can we fulfill the manobhishta of Shri Guru and the Guru Parampara. That was from Gaudiya Year 2, Issue 3. Why is it so important for a sadhak to experience separation? In order to give motion to any substance within the material world, some energy is needed. For example, with the help of excessive combustion, rockets can carry a space shuttle across all the layers of the atmosphere. Similarly, in the stage of sadhan, the sadhak will only make advancement when the fire of separation from Guru and Krishna is present. If properly ignited and blazed in the heart, this fire of separation separation can even jiva beyond the many layers of this material creation to the spiritual world. When that sadhak associates with a devotee who is already experiencing the intense fire of separation, that fire is ignited within his own heart. That is from Gaudiya issue 11. Isn't that beautiful? In the stage of sadhana, the sadhak will only make advancement when the fire of separation from Guru and Krishna is present. If properly ignited and blazed in the heart, this fire of separation can even take the jiva beyond the many layers of this material into the spiritual world. And I really like this part at the end, that when the sadhak associates with a devotee who is already experiencing the intense fire of separation, that fire is ignited within his own heart. So there's still some hope. Even if we're not feeling separation, we don't have that fire in our hearts, that's okay, because we can get that. If we associate with somebody who does have that fire burning in their hearts, they can also light the fire within our own hearts. All right. All right, everybody. Should I read a little something about Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj? Maybe let's just read some excerpts from, not the full thing, but just certain parts of my Gurudev's glorification here. Let me just find it. Where was that? Here it is. Okay, so I'm not going to read it all. His birth and his early life in the Mat. It's my Gurudev's glorification. I heard from the mouth of Srila Vaman Maharaja's virtuous and learned mother, Srimati Bhagavati Devi, that Pujapad Vaman Maharaj was born on the Krishna Paksha Nav in the month of Posha, 23 December 1921, in the village of Pilajanga in the Khulna district of East Bengal, Bangladesh. His childhood name was Santosh. His father, Shri Satish Chandra, took Diksha from my most worshipful master, Om Vishnupad Ashtotara Shatashi Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. After Diksha, his name became Shri Sarveshwar Das Adhikari. His mother was the disciple of the world-famous Jagat Guru Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtotara Shatashi Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, and his paternal uncle was one of Srila Prabhupada's first disciples, Pujapad Narasimha Maharaj. He strictly adhered to his vow of completing his chanting of Harinam daily, but always completed his studies. He was like the shadow of my Shri Gurupad Parma, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, serving him in every possible way. This is a picture. This must be when he was 8 or maybe 9, but it was but after that, he never went back home. So this has to be before that age. That's his mother, Bhagavati Devi. Accepting Diksha. After Prabhupada entered his unmanifest pastimes, conflicts took place among the devotees in the Gaudiya Mat. Without sound reason, the opposing party jailed most of our worshipful they jailed our most worshipful Srila Gurudev and 40 of Srila Prabhupada's senior respectable disciples. Among them were Srila Narahari Seva Vigraha Prabhu, Sri Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, Pujapad Bhakti Kushal Narasimha Maharaj, Pujapad Paramahansa Maharaj, and Pujapad Rishikesh Maharaj. It was Sri Sajan Sevak alone who would bring the files regarding the case to the lawyer and go to court, as well as cook prasad and bring it to the jail for all 40 devotees. At that time, Srila Gurudev gave him Diksha mantras, but could not perform his Upanaya Samskar, his sacred thread ceremony. Some people say that Sri Sajan Sevak Brahmachari, Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj, accepted Harinam and Diksha from Pujapad Bhakti Vichar Jajavar Maharaj. But the truth is that he received Harinam from Jagat Guru Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtotara Shatashi Shrimad Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupada and Diksha from my Guru Par Padma, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. At that time, Srila Gurudev had not yet received sannyas, nor was he accepting disciples. Therefore, Pujapad Jajavar Maharaj performed Sri Sajan Sevak Brahmachari's Upanaya Samskar. But factually, Sajan Sevak was the Diksha disciple of our Gurudev. Okay, I'm going to just skip around. Exemplary Vaishnava. Once, a large number of devotees attended some special occasion at Sri Gaudiya Samiti's center at Boshpara Lane, but somehow, no one was available to cook for them. Sri Sajan Sevak Brahmachari was ill with 103-degree fever at that time. Still, Srila Guru Maharaj came to him and instructed him to rise from bed and cook. He immediately did so, and afterwards served the visiting Vaishnavas prasad. By this, he demonstrated that in the service of his Gurudev, he did not even care for his life. Shortly after this incident, his good health returned. Beautiful story. Okay. His affection for me. In about 1945, under the guidance of Srila Guru Maharaj, a disciple of Srila Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Prabhupada went to preach in Sahebganj in the state of Bihar. That devotee, Srila Nartamananda Brahmachari, later Pujapad Bhakti Kamal Madhusudan Maharaj, was renowned for his wonderful explanation Srimad Bhagavatam. He was traveling with Sri Bhakti Kushal Narsingha Maharaj, Pujapad Radhanath Brahmachari, later Pujapad Trivikram Maharaj, Prem Prayojan Brahmachari, and Govardhan Brahmachari. It was then that I met the devotees and gradually began to perform bhajan according to the conception of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. From that time on, I would write letters to Srila Gurudev, and Sri Sajan Sevak Brahmachari sent me replies on Gurudev's behalf. In those letters, he addressed me as Tiwariji, as I hailed from a Tiwariji family. Then, in 1946, I left my family responsibilities, wife, job, and all else, and journeyed to Sridham Navadip without notifying anyone about my coming. I arrived in the middle of the night, so the train station was in darkness. Then, on the platform, I noticed someone with a lantern calling out, "Tiwariji, Tiwariji." It was Sri Sajan Sevak Brahmachari looking for me. When I heard my name being called, I immediately knew it was him. I went with him to the mat, and on that day, I asked him how he knew of my arrival on that particular train. He said, "Srila Guru Maharaj told me, Shriman Nārayaṇa Tiwari is arriving on this train tonight, so you should go there to greet him and bring him to the mat." From that time on, Sri Sajan Sevak Brahmachari cared for me in every respect, supplying me with cloth and whatever else I needed. He always showed me so much affection that I came to regard him as my Shiksha Guru. In Uma Didi's glorification yesterday, she was talking. She was mentioning Gurudev's pastimes, like as of joining the mat and everything. It ended in the same way that it began, because the way that he was first brought to Param Gurudev and united with Param Gurudev was Sri Sajan Sevak Brahmachari bringing him that time like that. And in the same way, at the closing of his pastimes, the appearance of Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj, which is the Sambhog, right? Sambhog is a Avirbhav is a representation of Sambhog, of meeting. And so on that day, Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj met with my Gurudev, and on that day, my Gurudev disappeared because he went to take him back to the Nitya Lila. Oh, this is beautiful. Shri Brihad Mardanga Seva. Srila Guru Maharaj established a printing press in Chunchura Math near Kolkata to publish Shri Gaudiya Patrika and other Gaudiya scriptures. At that time, Sri Sajan Sevak Brahmachari was the commander of that math. He took full charge of the Patrika, selecting all of its contents, proofreading, and bringing it to press. Once, while working with the printing press, his finger was seriously cut and blood gushed forth. He simply wrapped a cloth around it and continued with his service. At that time, Srila Guru Maharaj was staying there. As soon as he heard about what had happened, he ran there, weeping. Immediately, Srila Gurudev brought Sri Sajan Sevak Brahmachari by car to the medical college in Kolkata, where his finger was treated. This incident illustrates his dedication to serving Srila Gurudev and Srila Gurudev's parental affection for him. His transcriptions were faultless. Sri Sajan Sevak Brahmachari would always be on hand to take dictation for Srila Gurudev's editorial, even when thousands of people who had come for Parikrama would come to meet with Gurudev. Even at such a busy time, Srila Gurudev would dictate the editorial for the Patrika, and Sri Sajan Sevak Brahmachari would write it down. Without any proofreading, his work was always faultless and was sent directly to press. Srila Guru Maharaj perfectly expressed his thoughts and words, and Sri Sajan Sevak Brahmachari perfectly transcribed them, just like Ganesh, whose transcription contained no error. This is interesting. A strong decision. Once, one of Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj's disciples, who was somewhat uncontrolled, started to regularly quarrel with the people living near the math, and also with the math devotees. He did not even offer respect to the sannyasi. His behavior became a topic for the annual meeting. Srila Vamana Maharaj said, unless chastised, people like this never change, and they ruin the atmosphere in the math. He said that if necessary, this person should be expelled from the math. Finally, those in the meeting agreed. Therefore, at times, he would demonstrate impartiality even to his own disciples. Advocating bhajan in the mood of Radha Dasyam. Sometimes, especially during Navadip Parikrama, Pujapad Trivikram Maharaj and I would have a loving quarrel, Prem Kalaha. They would even take place on the stage in public. He would cut my arguments and I would cut his. Once, in the course of one such quarrel, I presented Madhur Ras according to the conception of Srila Rupa Goswami. My point was that on the strength of their service to Sri Radha, her maidservants, her dasis, do not even care to serve Sri Krishna. I quoted the shloka Naparayeham Nirvadya Samyujam, Srimad Bhagavatam 10:32-22. Krishna is saying, O gopis, even if I lived as long as Lord Brahma or any other demigod, I would not be able to repay my debts to you. In Gita Govinda 379, we see that when Srimati Radhika was in Man, Krishna says, O dearest Radhika, I will never offend you like that again. Please forgive me. And also in Gita Govinda 10:19-8, Smara Garala Khandanam Mama Shirasi Mandanam Dehi Pada Pallavam Udaram. My beloved, offer the fresh buds of your enchanting feet as an ornament upon my head. Therefore, in Tattva, Sri Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, but due to the excellence or superiority of Ashra Prem, the Prem experienced by devotees, he becomes indebted to Srimati Radhika and begs from her alms of forgiveness. Pujapad Trivikram Maharaj refuted my statements and established the Bhagavata, or godliness, the godhood and importance of Sri Krishna. In this way, there ensued a sweet debate between us. Pujapad Vaman Maharaj, the chairperson of the assembly, witnessed our loving quarrels and spoke his conclusion. Radha Pakshachari, Je Jan Sejan, Je Bhave She Bhave Take. Ami to Radhika Pakshapati Sadha. Kabu Nahi Heri Take. I am exclusively in the group of Shri Radhaji. I become happy when she is happy, and when she is sad, I become sad. This is the vichar, or conception of the Rupanugas, the followers of Srila Rupa Goswami. Performing bhajan with the inclination to serve Srimati Radhika is the best type of bhajan. It cannot be said that no one is qualified to perform this kind of bhajan. In this world, there is always a Rupanuga Vaishnav who is capable of doing such bhajan. Past, present, and future, there will always be someone with this qualification. To say otherwise is incorrect, because the world would face destruction if it lacked the presence of such a qualified person. His philosophical perspective made a substantial impression on the audience. Absorption in Vipralamba Bhajan. From the beginning of his devotional life, Pujapad Vaman Maharaj was absorbed in Vipralamba Bhajan. When a disciple came to him to discuss any issue, especially in relation to management, he would say, "Go to Sripad Nārāyaṇa Maharaj and he will address your problem." For 2 or 3 years before his disappearance, he completely withdrew from the external world, absorbing himself internally in Nam Bhajan. Sometimes he was overwhelmed with ecstasy, and day or night he would call out, "O Thakurani, Doya Koro, give me your mercy. Thakurani, Doya Koro, Kripa Koro." He would even cry this out as he slept. Okay, I'm just going to read this. I'll end with this last part. The ideal Vaishnav. In this way, I lived with Pujapad Vaman Maharaj for almost 60 years and had the opportunity to closely observe and understand him. He possessed all the qualities that are inherent in a Vaishnav. By nature, he was simple, grave, humble, tolerant, overflowing with Guru Nishta, and inclined to serve the Vaishnavas. This situated him on a high level of bhakti. I have seen many people, including myself, who give explanations from the scriptures and enjoy taking praise from others for it. But having known Pujapad Vaman Maharaj for so long, I've never seen him do this, not even, we read this yesterday. He is also very tolerant, as if taking poison and digesting it. He may see the faults in others, but he never speaks about them. He has so much eagerness to preach the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he has preached in all the villages of West Bengal and Assam. Bhagavan has especially empowered this great personality with many transcendental qualities. His Guru Nishta was astounding. With his life in his hands, he would step forward and offer himself in the service of Śrīla Gurudeva. Guru Nishta is the backbone of bhakti. I have seen many Guru Sevaks, but Pujapad Vaman Maharaj's service to Śrīla Gurudeva with his body, mind, words, and sentiments as a brahmachari and as a sannyasi was extraordinary. In this world, such a Guru Sevak is rare. We pray to him that while engaged in the eternal service of Śrīla Gurudeva and Shri Shri Radha Krishna, he may be merciful upon us so that we can also perform Guru Seva with Nishta like him, and thus dedicate our lives to Shri Guru and his mission. First published in Rays of the Harmonist, number 2005, and paragraphs ending with an asterisk are excerpts from Sri Prandavali, chapter 1. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Rukmini Didi. Thank you, Hari Bol. Thanks for staying so long. It must be super late where you are. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishram Vishnupad Ashata Rashata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudeva ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishram Vishnupad Ashata Rashata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Vamana Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishram Vishnupad Ashata Rashata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitil Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Shila Saparshad Shila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitil Pravishta Shila Satchidananda Shila Mahabhagavat Shila Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Nitil Pravishta Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai. Nitil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Rupa Anuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Shar Goswami Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai. Nama Jai Shri Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Sarva Avishtabhadata Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund Yamuna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyaya Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavataya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Oh, it's 10:25 p.m. there. Wow. Oh, one quick thing. Just one sentence. So tomorrow is, right? I think it's tomorrow. Tomorrow is Akadashi, right? And so in the article that I sent out, it's just one paragraph. I just thought, let me just share my screen. I'll just read one paragraph and then I'll end for good. But self-assessment on the disappearance date of Srila Guru Padma. This is an article by Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj. And at the end of the article, he says, measuring our progress. Jagat Guru Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur said, every 15 days, on each Akadashi, a person should record how much progress he has made in his performance of sadhan bhajan. But we do not do that. And should that record be kept on a piece of paper or within our hearts? Only by recording it in our hearts will we be able to analyze our progress. Every Akadashi, a person should make a point to record how much Harinam he did in the last 15 days, how much time he spent discussing Shastra, and how much service he engaged in. Only then can we understand whether he is making progress or whether he is going backwards. Only then can he understand whether making progress or going backwards. Our constant concern is whether or not we are capable of following all the instructions of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas have given us. More importantly, we wonder if we have really taken these instructions to heart or are endeavoring to understand them. We all know that where there is a will, there is a way. We then note that although we desire to practice properly, we are not successful. But is this really the case? If we have an ardent desire and if we are honest and non-duplicitous, then most definitely we will achieve success. We should question, how much effort am I putting into my practices? And to what extent do I try before I consider my endeavor in sadhan to be complete? What I may perceive as the end of my efforts in the realm of sadhan bhajan may actually be the very beginning. This process is not necessarily easy. So I just that before Akadashi comes, we can really make an effort on Akadashi to look inside and make and then we can start new. And anyways, that's I really like that though. Every Akadashi, every 15 days, we have a chance to start over. It's like a New Year's every couple weeks. All right. Thank you. See you all tomorrow. I'll start reading from, what is it? From Srimad Bhagavatam again tomorrow. All right. Haribol, everybody. Dandavat pranams. Haribol.